Yeah, so, hello. Oh, like that, is it? Okay. Jack, Jack explains the major system for remembering numbers. Hello, settle down, settle down. This is a special lesson. I'm pretty sure getting tail was coined by Pete. I think so. Cottontail, yes. Still a very funny sketch. Thank you. Right, so yes, the major system. Well, maybe I'll leave that up. I'm going to leave that up just for a moment. We'll come back to that. So, the major system, as it is known, is a popular system for memorizing digits. So long and digit sequences. You could use this for remembering pins. You could use them for remembering significant figures in a presentation, for example. All sorts of uses that it could be put to. You suddenly need, if you need those digits, those figures at the fingertips of your mind. So it sounds a bit convoluted, but with practice you can get quite quick at using it. And also, I would say, and I've got nothing to back this up, but the more you use it, the more your kind of intuitive level of remembering numbers improves. I sometimes scare myself at remembering numbers that I've just glanced at, and but as I say, I don't know really if that's the use of this system or not. So, this is what we're dealing with, isn't it? We are dealing with some. Oh, I've run out of space. Luckily, though, this is a magic whiteboard, so I can do that. So, yes. So what we do now, the problem with numbers is they're very abstract, really. There is a system of remembering chains of numbers. It's slightly flawed, where you assign shapes to them. So 1 is a stick, 2 is a swan, 3 is a pair of breasts, 4 is a yacht, if we think of 4 as that way of drawing it. 5 is a fish hook, 6 is a golf club, so forth. You can make up your own shapes, which is often a more effective way of doing it. But the major system doesn't do that, because the major system, I think, realizes that with longer sequences, using chained images, so you're kind of associating, let's say, a pair of breasts with a fish hook, so you can imagine a fish hook piercing a nipple, and then suddenly you have to go from the fish hook to, let's say, 7, which is a cliff. So you imagine that fish hook extending and jabbing into a cliff face, but then suddenly you've got to go back to another 3. There's basically you're bringing in space for confusion there, and the major system helps to alleviate that confusion. But as I say, it's slightly convoluted. We are going to assign sounds to each number. Okay, so that's T and D. N, yes, backwards. M, yes, forwards. R. L, I go with L. You'll find that some people who use this system use 5. The 5s and the 8s are different. 6, this is getting a bit complicated, but 6 is CH or sh, or even, I think, J. Yeah. Those sorts of sounds. Sometimes it's better to think of them as sounds rather than specific letters. This would be a K or a hard C. 8 would be an F or a V. Now you can see maybe there why some people use 5 for F and V. I like it because that sort of way of drawing an F resembles an 8 in my head. So that's why I do it that way around. And 5, L is the Roman numeral for 50. 9, we have P or B, so those are the plosives. And for 0, we have S and Z. So the first thing you have to do if you're learning the major system is to learn those associations. So we might think of N as a sort of 2-shaped, and M as sort of 3-shaped. 1, we think of the single downward stroke in a T or a D. 4, we have 4. 5, as I say, Greek, the Roman number for 50. 6, you'll have to come up with something yourself for that one. K, so you could think of K as being 2 7s back to back, sort of. A 7 on a mirror. 8, as I say, the F shape of the 8. 9, we can think of as that as a P in a mirror. Have you ever peed in a mirror? And 0, Z for 0, you see. I don't know why we switched sides suddenly. Anyway, that's the first stage of learning to use this system. And as I say, yeah, it sounds more complicated to use than it really is. What we then do, I think I'll just stick to remembering short numbers the old-fashioned way. This sounds like it needs effort. Well, the thing is, if you put effort into it, you're kind of telling your brain that the number is important, you see, which is another thing, which I think helps cement it. So, for memorizing pi, if we go back to our magic whiteboard again, we can turn these into sounds, this sequence, and we end up with, or when I did it, we can then convert those sounds into words. So I have, and this will be familiar to any fan of Crossroads, Amy Turtle, and then, getting a bit violent, Amy, punch, low, and then romantic, my love, and then pick up. I can't quite remember quite how it goes. I think it's pick up my knee. Pick up. So we would but there we've got Amy Turtle, TRTL, punch, PNC, punch, low, L, my, love, 58, pick up my, I think it's pick up my knee, my fresh, help. And I pick up my knee, my fresh, nosh, or my, what is it? Pick up my, or my mauve, mink, ape. You might want to check those. I've got no guarantee really beyond this bit. Beyond there, I've got no idea how accurate those are. But that's basically how you do it. This is beginning to make sense. Hurrah! Just back. Is Jack signalling for help? I think I'm having some sort of breakdown. I think that's what's happening. But yeah, so that's basically how I remember long sequences of numbers and short sequences as well. Because once you get very habitual to it, you can very quickly scope a number and get a sense of a word that will go with it. People who are sort of heavy users will have a specific list of 100 or 200 words for the first 200 digits. Very well, carry on. Thank you. I think we'd finished, Karamba. The other thing you can do, which is quite fun, sort of, is you can turn existing words into numbers or existing texts into numbers. You might like to play a fun game where you try and work out what particular well-known bit of writing has been converted into numbers, because it's a lossy process. Because you get numbers that are standing in for multiple sounds, multiple letters rather. Oh, but anyway, yes, we should probably get back to the game, shouldn't we? Let's do that. Let's do that. Joke explained.